Xavier, great to see you. Great to see you practice.
Thank you for coming down, Andy. Nice to have you and host you here.
Brilliant. So today I'm talking with Xavier Rajarathnam, who is founder and CEO of Excel Health. And I've got to say, I've been blown away by your setup, by you in person, and meeting your team today. So, firstly, well done with everything that you've done.
Thank you. Very kind of you to say that. It's lovely to have you here. It's our second meeting and it's fantastic experience.
Yeah, well, that's it. Our first meeting was actually at Wimbledon, so
Yes.
this is that really maybe the best first meeting I've ever had actually. But no, it was really good to get to know you there as well, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about you and how you got to where you did. So, in terms of you, then, how did you get involved in this area of physiotherapy?
So, as you know, I'm from India, have from a very humble background. My mother was a head teacher, and my father was a managing director of a cooperative bank. And when I was growing up in India, education is all about everything. So, if you don't educate yourself well, then you don't have a great future. That is the mindset and the ideology people had. So my parents made sure all the children of us, I'm fifth out of six children, bigger family, we had amazing time, and we were educated to the highest level. And it's a very interesting journey I had into the physiotherapy. Was it luck or it's my destiny? I don't know yet. I feel it's my destiny to be a great physiotherapist. I love what I do, enjoy the journey I'm having. So at A level, I didn't score enough marks. So it was a dilemma, should I go into engineering university or physiotherapy university? My sister was very keen for me to join a physiotherapy university. So I was looking for a school to have an amazing career in physiotherapy. Luckily, somebody pulled out, and I was the last candidate to get into that well renowned university where 750 bedded hospital is attached. So, all my training was in the 750 bedded hospital. You get to see every kind of patients. So, I started first year. The first year is full of physiology, sociology, biostatistics, and that freaked me out. And I came to my parents and said, after the first year, Mom, I'm not doing this course anymore because I can't deal with biochemistry and sociology. And she said, come down, let's have a conversation. I was thinking of quitting. And my mother said, you know what, we paid so much money into it, you should continue it. And my father was saying, whatever you do, do it to your full of your abilities. And you need to love it, enjoy it, otherwise don't do it. My mother was in the idea that I need to continue it for another 6 months and see whether I love it or not. If I don't, then I could quit. I was thinking, you know what? 12 months I'm into this university. I love the atmosphere, I love the team, and I love the teachers. Amazing place. But I didn't like the subjects. You won't believe it, after the 12 months of my first year, they started teaching more into anatomy, applied physiology. That really hooked me in. Then we started learning biomechanics and orthopedics and everything. I thought, wow, my mind and brain is tuned to be in the engineering field. I think everything in mechanical nuts and bolts. And the biomechanics really interested me. Then I thought, okay, let's go ahead. And carried on, carried on. I was the topper in university in biomechanics and enjoyed the other subjects in the physiotherapy field. And I thought, you know what? I'm doing it well. I'm enjoying it now. Put my full effort into it. And passed out with around A grade or A plus. It was 84% I scored. And I loved the journey. Then I went on to do my master's in sports, orthopedics, and exercise medicine. I love the subjects, and that's where I learned a lot about pathomechanics. So, what happens if one of your muscles is torn, and how bad it will look like in your shoulder and knee joint, vice versa, and how do you rehab those kind of patients? Fantastic experience, you won't believe it, and I went deeper and deeper into it. I've decided to do far better in my career, and so after my masters, I was working in a private practice in India. Great exposure, great experience with loads of ACL rehabs, post-ACL repairs, and Achilles injuries. And I was even working with the Indian Sports Authority for a brief time. Loads of runners comes with Achilles injuries. And this is all lack of training, lack of stretching, lack of warm-up. So I always somehow understood back to basics. Keep it simple. Start simple. That's all I've learned all about. Then I went on to become a lecturer in physiotherapy university. You won't believe it. And again, I did that for a year and loved the journey of teaching young physiotherapists. And again, I use the same phenomena. Keep it simple. Do not complicate any subjects. And if I can make any person to understand a subject as good as this 5-year-old or 7-year-old can understand, and that will keep people really motivated to learn. That's the way I started in my career. And then in 2005, I came to England. And my wife was, saying, Xavier, let's go to England, give it a shot, and we'll work 3-4 years. And then we can come back to India, settle down here. But now, I'm in England for 17, 18 years, I'm still here.
So just to go back to one point you mentioned there, so I love the combination of when you get things, so you're doing physiotherapy, but then you've got this passion and interest and skill set in engineering.
Yes.
How important has that been for you within your career and your development and ultimately growing the business?
I feel if you understand the mechanics of anything what we do in our head as a blueprint, you could succeed. For example, in physiotherapy, when a patient comes with hip joint pain, you need to think what else could be the cause of the problem. Is it the lower back or mid-thoracic spine or the hip joint referring and radiating pain? And that differential diagnosis is so important for us to understand mechanically so that we figure out how we can diagnose the problem very accurately. The same way in business. When I started into business, which is in 2012, and again, I was very clear. I was learning everything piece by piece, split it into small components. To start a business, what should I do? Mechanical. Then I put that nuts and bolts into the system. Then finance, I have to learn everything. Simple as that. Started learning more of Excel sheets and complex finance I can do now. Calculate things in my brain very, very easily. Then I put that mechanism into the business. Then team development. Once I got all those things, nuts and bolts, into the system, that engine started running reasonably well. Then I thought, what's missing? The leadership, the driver of the car I'm building, that is missing. Then I went on to learn so much about leadership. Started reading books. So many books I've read. Last year I've read around 24 or 23 books. That changed the way I think. So in my head, I am slowly putting one by one of a piece into the puzzle or a car I'm building. That is the way my brain thinks. So that engineering background is so important. And that's the same thing I've done with everything. At the same time, that engineering brain still kicks in my head. I'm fully hands-on. I fix so many things in and around my house and my properties, buildings I own. And I've become a huge investor now. I still do loads of work around my house. And you give me a problem, I'll fix it. Is it the tap needs changing? Or the floorboard needs changing? I'll do it.
Well, I may need you on that sometime, actually. I'm not practical at all. But one of the other things that you mentioned as well, which I think is such an important point, is that simplicity.
Yes.
I think so often in every walk of life is that people, they overcomplicate things, maybe intentionally to show how good they are or a level of knowledge, whereas I think the opposite is way more helpful.
It is. And you don't need to complicate anything. World is built with simple puzzles. And you need to just build one by one. Gradually, things will come to fruition. The Rome is not built in one day. The same way in our life, whatever you want to achieve, You need to build it slow and steady. Learn out of everything. There's a huge list of resources available on YouTube or Audibles. People can follow and learn and slowly keep it simple, slowly move on. And that will get people going really, really well. And they can succeed. They don't need to complicate anything. Well, my understanding is, who am I going to prove that I'm a complex person? I know loads of stuff. I don't need to prove to anybody. In my head, is it simple and clear? Can I explain to my children that this is what I'm doing? This is what your father is up to? And they understand it? Great. Keep it simple.
This is why you're going to bed.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. And so I'm really interested in how you formulated that. Is that the way you've always thought? And also, when you came to the UK, what was the goal? What was the vision at that point?
The vision when I came to England, to be honest, I thought I should learn a lot of technical side of things and be a better physio, learn from the expert, and develop you as a great clinician. But you won't believe it. When I came to UK, I don't know whether to call it as a fortunate enough or that is the way my life designed to. I met so many amazing people. Some of them are clinicians, some of them are managers in the professional world. My first manager, he was a physiotherapist, Mr. Pramod Salkar, amazing guy. And his knowledge in subject was fantastic at the same time. Managerial way, how he thought about things, how to handle people, how to tackle a problem. I could read from him. I could learn from him so well. I did that for 2 years with a gentleman, amazing person. Moved on with another NHS organization for 9 years, one of the largest NHS trust in Kent, Kent Community Health. I was working with Hilary Burrell. Oh my God. She was a physiotherapist, but she fully into management. The way people handle complicated situations so clearly and easily, that blown my mind. I thought, you know what? My learning is not done. So I kept on learning from these people. And the journey went on. But at the same time, the family was slowly growing up. And at one point, we thought, children are in a school, they are getting a best education. They are constantly swimming, running, playing cricket every weekend, football every weekend. And you can't take them out and take them to a different country. And that kind of felt that, our vision need to change. It's not that just become a good clinician and go back to India. That vision slowly started changing. Then that is the time I felt, what is most important to my family? We were living in a beautiful area and good healthcare. Everything is going on well. So I thought, you know what? Let's build a business. And we started with NHS England contracts in the prisons. That was going so well. And we've been now doing 12 years now. We're still working with the various organizations to deliver those contracts. That was our first step into the business. I think it was a gradual journey which helped me to learn how to run a business, how to deliver the best for the NHS organizations. Because when you work with the NHS organization, they hold you accountable for the highest of standards. I thought, you know what? If I'm doing anything, I need to do it to the best of my ability. And I did that for 4 years. Then in your head, you think, what happens if this NHS contract goes belly up? What is my alternate resource of income? That is the time we started with a private practice. We started in Sittingbourne, then Sheerness, slowly built that business up. And currently we are seeing around 1,800 patients a month, it seems. 1,800 to 2,000 patients a month. And we currently have 4 private practices, which we are constantly developing to become 6 clinics altogether. So we want to lead the way in Kent area. Kent is a larger county, and we could spread our wings very, very well. and the journey takes us in a nicer way um, to develop and do things with the team better.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really impressive. Like you've gone from starting to such a big organisation and really impressive with multiple revenue streams. So it is really impressive. How did you start the practice? Like how did you go from being employed to then unemployed? And I know what that's like.
Yes.
I know it's the challenges that come with it. So how did that happen?
You won't believe this. Even though I was born into a middle class family in India, uh, my parents taught me finance skills very early on, very, very well. My father used to teach me budgeting, and they both bring in their monthly earnings, and they will decide how much they are going to spend on children, how much spent on reserve, how much they are going to invest in gold or anything, and how much they put away for rainy seasons. All those calculations happens in front of all six of us, and we learn that clearly. All my family members are now in a very good situation. All of them have done their doctorate. I'm the only one didn't do a doctorate, honestly. And everybody is called doctor. Xavier is just Xavier. So they taught me everything to start with. That helped me to leverage my situation in private practice. So when I was transitioning from an employed physiotherapist in NHS to a practice owner, I've decided to take a simple step again and keep it simple. And I started with one physiotherapy room in Sittingbourne. And when I was signing the rental agreement for £575 a month, I was thinking, bloody hell, I'm signing my life away. This is the biggest investment I'm committing to, or a liability I'm committing to. But I thought, you know what? You know everything. You know loads of things at the fundamental level. You can make it work. And but I still kept my employed position as a part-time, and it was too hard to transition, isn't it? Your family is relying on you, children are in school, and you need to fund their education. You lead a good lifestyle, that holidays need to be paid. You don't want to take a bigger risk. So the private practice was really growing on well. By the time we started working with 3 more physios, all of them were my friends, lovely guys. We had a great banter and work relationship. We did it like a friends doing something together. We didn't see that as a business. We didn't see that as a harsh job or a harder reality of making money, paying the bills, any of those things. We didn't see that as a chore. So, but I started employing each and every skills I was learning and applied it in business. And that 3 physios, we started moving up to 5 physios. And by the time I thought, you know what, now I can come out of NHS completely. And in 2018 or 2019 it was, 2019 in November, I spoke to my NHS manager, and she was very upset that I'm leaving the job. She said, Xavier, we can work out any way you feel right, because I wanted to spend some time with my father in India, because I knew he was getting older. I want to go and visit him every 3 months and work in our private practice the rest of the time. I told her that is my idea. She said, we can annulate your hours however you want to do it, but stay with us. It was a very lovely offer from her, and I said, you know what, let me call it as a quit. But if I don't find myself in the right place, I'll first person to ring you is Hillary. It was an amazing experience. So I've decided to quit my job and go back and see my father every 3 months. By the time I lost my mother, and gradually I want to get him on board as much as possible. So went in November to India, spent another week with him, come back, and February COVID came in. I couldn't go to India for another 2 years, 2.5 years. Time gone past so much. COVID was a turning point in our life. And you speak to any person, the COVID has significant positive impact or some form of negative impact. That is our pivoting time in business as well. That is the time. At one point, I was telling my patients, you know what, we have to shut the clinic for 2 weeks. I'll be back after the second week and we'll continue the treatment. And I kept on booking people after the second week. I told all my physios, keep on booking your people after 2 weeks. I was so confident, and I didn't feel like I need to give up, but I want to keep going. My wife rang me and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm booking my patients. I'll come home in another few minutes. She said, you can't run your clinic after 2 weeks. The government has closed everything. I still didn't understand it fully. And she said, don't worry, come home quick as possible. They are shutting the country down. I think, what? Lockdown means what? They can't shut the world. And I went home and I was getting ready to go to the gym. And she said, take a picture and send it to your personal trainer. You are ready, but you're not coming. And I took the picture and sent it to him and said, Phil, I'm not coming in because the COVID lockdown is fully on. And that is a time I was not working 2 weeks, but my wife was working in NHS at the same time. She was kept working remotely. You know, when you're not working, your brain can be a devil or a good source of learning you could do. That is the time I've started learning what is now next. Because this is the situation we are in. We can't run a business, but somehow we need to survive. Somehow you need to pay the rents and bills. This is the time it really hit me harder to think. Because so far I've been enjoying my journey as a physiotherapist and a business owner with a couple of my friends. I loved it, every minute of it. And that is the time I started learning, understanding there should be a mentor in business. And I collaborated with a couple of Australian mentors, amazing people. They were teaching how marketing and how bringing your services to the people in a nicer way is most important. And that's where I found two of my mentors. And we had a small tent in the back of the garden, and I was doing loads of calls from there, learning so many recordings from these mentors. I've really got to the grip of business. Ever since, I've never stopped learning. And that's how I went on to converse with loads of entrepreneurs and people who venture out to do something better for them. And I support those people as well. And I've learned a lot from co-business owners. Now I'm part of a mentoring team where we have around 50 UK physiotherapy business owners and bounce off ideas, share what is best, working for them, working for us, and we learn from each other.
Yeah, I think that's a really positive piece. I fully agree with the mentoring and support and just allowing you to share ideas and challenges with people as well.
Indeed.
Yeah, and what would you class yourself as now? Like you mentioned about being a physio and that aspiration. Are you physio, business owner, something else? What would you say you are?
I would still love to see myself as a physiotherapist because I love what I'm doing. I enjoy being a physio as well. Currently, I'm doing 1 day as a physio. Sometimes it goes on to 2 days. I have loving client group, and at the same time, I would class myself as a visionary leader because I know where I'm heading to. My train, it's on a right destination. It's traveling nice and good speed. That vision really drives me further and further. I would class myself as a business owner and a leader who's building a career, and at the same time, as a business owner, at the same time, empowering people to do better in their own life. And I feel I'm so passionate about people should develop as a business owner or something so that they enjoy their life far better without any limitations. mainly no financial limitations. It's a bonus, right? You love what you do. At the same time, financially, you are well supported. That means you could lead a beautiful life too. You don't need to deprive your family of any opportunities due to lack of access to the finance or money in your bank account. So in my life, it has worked very well. But at the same time, I'm continuously developing myself to be a better business owner. Yeah. So I would class myself as a business owner / still a little bit of physiotherapist.
Yeah, and definitely having seen your infrastructure and setup and goals, it's really impressive. So well done on that. And then finally, what books would you recommend? You said you read a lot of books. I love professional developments. If you've got any particular suggestions, I'm always open.
The books I've read, the first book I read is the fable of a monk who sold his Ferrari. That's an amazing book. Robin Sharma, one of my favorite author. I've read around 5 books from him. And the 5 a.m. Club is another fantastic book. And since then, I have implemented loads of the learning from that book in my own life. Not everything. I should do everything. Meditation is the one thing I haven't got my head around yet. But I love the 5 a.m. Club. Then another best author, in my opinion, is Craig McEwen. He writes about essentialism, effortlessness, and his favorite tagline is, if you don't prioritize things, somebody else will do it for you. I would set my priorities in my own life. I don't want others to set my priorities. So those books really change your life. Another best book I've read, it's a common books, Simon Sinek, Why We Are Doing What We Are Doing. That's another book. I would love it. I've read loads of books from Robert Kiyosaki, the money guy.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he has done 3 or 4 books I've read from him. So loads of these fundamental books, but I'm learning now how to be a leader. Daring Leadership is the next book I'm listening now. That's Brene Brown.
Yes.
Amazing author. And all these authors are from America some reason. We should have lots of British authors here. These are the books I've been reading. Anything I see, personal development, leadership development, I've read it. And again, in my mentoring team, everybody suggests some of the books they have read and to us. Another book is Atomic Habits, small little habits you develop every single day, and that becomes who you are.
Yeah, great. No, brilliant. And then final question, what would you give as advice to someone starting out, probably mainly in the physio area, but any general advice?
I would, anybody who aspires to be a leader or a business owner, there is no better time than this. Just venture out. You will not make the same mistakes as many other business owners have made, as long as you keep up to date with your learning, because everybody has written their books. For example, Richard Branson, and he had so much of learning in his whole lifetime. He has put it into books. If you read that, you are gaining possibly 25 years of his experience in 5 hours in your head. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Same thing, I love the book about Nelson Mandela, his vision, how to be a better person. All those things, I loved it. And so again, you don't need to make the same mistake. Just start now. But get the learning on board. That is the best support you will get. Many people say, oh, business is a bleak world and it's so uncertain and all those things. No. I've seen COVID. I've seen 2 recessions. And I've seen so many governments changing in and out. We've been in a Liz Truss era. There is nothing disaster than that. As long as you are confident in your own skills and you maintain a very good relationship and partnership with the other business owners, you are well done. You will be absolutely fine. If you want to do it, just get started. Do not wait for a better time. The better time is now.
Brilliant. That's a perfect way to end. thank you for sharing all of that. Amazingly impressive what you've done. The journey's it's completely unique. So well done, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Andy. It's nice to host you here, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.